Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, August 6th. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Patricia Malone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, the prosecution continues presenting its case in the trial of a man accused of fatally shooting a Central High School student who was on his way to school. Trayvon Bennett is charged with murder and armed robbery in the death of 18-year-old Markel Ross nearly 2 years ago. Rochelle Metzger has the latest from the District Courthouse in Upper Marlboro.
It's day 3 of the Trayvon Bennett murder trial. Several key state witnesses take the stand, including 2 former friends who are now cooperating witnesses who are testifying against the defendant. Kendall Bland and Jeremy Brown were friends of the 21-year-old. For a time back in 2012, Bennett lived in Brown's family's house in Capitol Heights. They shared a room in the basement. That's where police found bullets and a brown Colt .38 revolver that investigators would later determine was used in both the murder and a separate street robbery. The defense points out that the gun belonged to Jeremy Brown, who is currently locked up awaiting charges in an unrelated case, and Bland, often at the home, knew where he kept it. The defense also says that the 2 co-defendants probably cut a deal with the state. But prosecutors say neither Brown nor Bland are charged in this case because they both have confirmed alibis for the time of the murder. Prosecutors also say that Bennett had access to the weapon and used it when he tried to rob 18-year-old Markel Ross of his cell phone and other belongings on September 11, 2012. Ross, an honor student who ran track and was an ROTC cadet, was found shot to death in the 6100 block of Old Central Avenue. Bland testified that Bennett confessed to committing the crime. And on the stand, Brown said before leaving for work the morning in question, he saw Trayvon put on a black hoodie, take out the revolver, tuck it into his waistband, and leave out the back basement door. Brown also testified that he heard about the murder from other people. He says he had a suspicion that his friend may have been involved, and he didn't want a dirty gun in the house, so he says he came home and checked his revolver, but no shells were missing and it looked okay, so he put it back in the safe. Now, prosecutors still have more witnesses to call, but they're expected to wrap up their case on Thursday. In Upper Marlboro, I'm Rochelle Metzger, CTV News.
And the defense could begin to make its case as early as tomorrow afternoon.
And this year alone, some 33,000 unaccompanied children from Central America have arrived in the U.S. seeking refuge from violence and poverty. And according to estimates, Maryland is now home to more than 2,200 of them. Now, state officials have met with members of the legal community to discuss how to help the children. Their goals are making sure the kids are treated with compassion, keeping them safe, and ensuring that due process is carried out.
Prince George's County is going to get a briefing and understand what the state would like us to do to assist, and we're going to provide whatever assistance we're able to provide after we receive the information from the state on exactly how they want local jurisdictions to assist in this process.
And many of the refugees come from El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala.
A woman is killed in a pedestrian accident last night in Upper Marlboro. Maryland State Police say an adult female walked out into a lane of traffic and was struck by a 2004 Honda Civic. It happened about 10 p.m. along eastbound Route 4 at Water Street. First responders pronounced her dead on the scene. There is no crosswalk on that road, and police say there is nothing but grass on the other side. So far, no charges have been filed against the driver, who did remain on the scene. Authorities don't know the victim's name because she was not carrying an ID. The incident is under investigation, and this is the second fatal crash involving a pedestrian along Water Street since last week.
And in Laurel, a fire erupts at a salon and spa early this morning. It began at around 1 a.m. on the second floor of the building on the 100 block of 2nd Street. Officials say that the blaze was caused by an unattended candle on the second floor of that building.
The firefighters arrived. They found heavy fire conditions coming from the second floor of that salon. The first arriving crew from the Laurel Rescue Squad did a tremendous job in extinguishing that fire very quickly. Fortunately, there were no injuries. Fire investigators reported to the scene and determined that an unattended candle left burning in a room up on that second floor ignited the fire. The fire caused about $50,000 in damages. Fortunately, no one was injured. So we need to remind everybody, if you have a candle or incense burning and you're going to leave the room, extinguish that candle or incense before you do so.
And this is the third incident this week where a fire was caused by a candle or incense.
Maryland gubernatorial nominee Anthony Brown picks up support of a major environmental group. Meantime, the rivalry between the Democratic and Republican nominees continues to heat up. Larry Hogan released a web video describing Brown as the most incompetent man in Maryland.
Raise taxes yet. He already raised them 40 consecutive times. And when it rains, you pay. And it seems that even his campaign van wants to move to Virginia. It's why he's known as the most incompetent man in Maryland. And now he wants a promotion. Stay uninformed, my friends.
And the Sierra Club, which originally sided with Republican candidate Larry Hogan in the primary, announced today that it will endorse Brown. The decision was made largely because of his achievements under Governor Martin O'Malley. Members of the group also say there was no other choice after efforts to meet with Hogan were unsuccessful. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Byron Scott.